YouTube, this your boy Ron G coming back with another hot new video. Before we get into the Air Jordan 11 comparisons, let's check out some Funkos. We got the blue chrome Batman, the Hot Topic Pennywise, the Jim Henson. Look at this, look at the details in this. He's got Ernie in his hand. That's awesome. This is the Target exclusive. We've got this regular Batman that I absolutely dig. It's kind of like a homage to the throwback. Very nice. We got another blue chrome Batman. The original Teen Wolf, Scott Howard. Limited edition. We have the exclusive Marvel Collector Corpse Valkyrie on deck. The Foot Locker exclusive Miles Morales. The Captain America exclusive Collector's Corpse, man, this one I already sold for about 65 bucks. Got the whole pack for retail. Got the exclusive Wolverine from Target. Another Batman, and this one's to like the 1995 with Michael Keaton. I think it was 1995. This one's definitely bomb. And we have a Chase Grinch. He's in blue. I think the other one was, forgot what color he was in. Might be in his original color. Pennywise exclusive from Walmart, and another Batman. We were also able to secure the Thor corpse shirt. This is in a 3X. Definitely not my size. Probably be giving that away to somebody.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
So what's up, YouTube? This your boy Ron G, and I'm coming back with another hot new video.
You ain't lying.
First of all, I just want to tell you that watching every single one of these retro 11s, I'm starting to notice a lot of differences. So initially, the first thing I observed about all of the Air Jordans in question were particularly the shape of the toe. When I observed the shape of the toe, I began to see some differences. The first thing I did was measure each one of the toes. The second thing I did was take each sides from 1, 2, 3, the third, I think this is nylon, right where it ends at, into the polyfoam. The last thing I did was measure the bottom of the patented leather once again into the foam. Every single one of the shoes had differences. I've been saying this for years, and basically they're about to come out with the 2019 Bred 11s. So let's get into it. Let's see a couple of differences now. So with that said, also we're going to get into the fact that if you see right here, you can see that the leather is thicker on the originals. The leather has gotten real thin, which causes extreme amount of wrinkles around here. Wrinkles in this area because it's so thin. When you have thin leather like that and you bend it, it's going to get wrinkled and it's going to rip very easily. You also see multiple differences with quality. The soles on the 1995 OG never come off. You always have to do a lot of re-glues on the originals. I mean, not on the originals, on the retros, which is really crazy. And this is thin also. This is actually one of the ones that they actually said they went back to retro. It's thin. Every single one of the pairs have thin patented leather, except for the 2000 pair, which is still thinner than the original, but it's a lot better. If I'm gonna go through all of the measurements, they're right here. And as you can see from the measurements we can talk about this in more detail, but you can see the clear winner was the 2000 Concords according to the measurements. 2 1/4 on the toe, an inch and 1/4 on the side, and 1 inch in the back. The consistency of every single one of these is actually 1 inch from the patented leather to sole, the midsole. That's actually pretty good that they're staying consistent with that number. Another honorable mention amongst the best of the 11s, I want to mention this. I do not have the 2011 Concords. I have multiple pairs of those shoes. But I will say that honestly, the soles kept coming off. I was tired of the re-glues, and after that, I just didn't want to mess with them anymore. But out of the best styles that ever came out, I think the 72 and 10 Air Jordans will later on be remembered as the top 5. This is definitely my top 5. This is probably maybe the 3rd best Air Jordan 11 I think to ever come out. The Concords, of course, the Breds, these, and I think the Columbias, in my opinion. Look at that. That leather is really cool. It's nice. The only thing I don't like about it is this patent leather is so thin. But the fact that the patent leather, the toe was kind of thick, it didn't have a lot of wrinkles right here, which is really good, so it's not going to rip as easily. And plus, I don't know if you can see the sparkles in the inside of it, but they did a really good job on these. Also, another thing to mention is the shoestrings. They made the shoestrings really thin on the retros, really thin, and that's definitely something that kind of takes away for the aesthetics of the shoe. But other than that, I think we definitely 100% have a clear winner in my opinion. The 2018 Concords, as you can see, different measurements, a little bit off, a lot off, but the actual shape of the shoe is the best by far. As you can see, that I mean, it's way off as far as the measurements, but I will say that they need to stop making this patent leather come up so high on the shoe. That's nowhere near close to the originals. You can see when they start making the patent leather come higher up, it got weird. From the 2000 Space Jams on, it just got really weird at that point. And people like, oh, I like high cut, but the originals weren't that high up, okay? The original toes of the patent leather Jordans weren't that far. You could see the differences between the two. It came down from here to here, and here to here is a big difference, as you can see from the measurements. But overall, I still think this year's release of the Concords was probably the best as far as the shape, and also when we're talking about the back of the area. As you see, none of the other Air Jordans cut like that. They don't cut down. They don't have that sharp angle on the back like the originals had. The originals had the sharp angle, and the originals were not padded. That's something else to look at. The original Air Jordans were not padded as much in the inside of the shoe. And with these Concords, they didn't pad them as much either, which makes them the best version. As you can start to see at the other Jordans, such as the worst, in my opinion, made was the Space Jams. As far as the Space Jam measurements, we can look at them. The Space Jam measurements are way off from the original. They are way off from the original. It's not even close. And to actually bring more differences to it, look at the shoestrings. They're super thin. They aren't the correct shoestrings. The padding is too thick. The back of the 45, you see how it's square right there? You see how it just wraps around in the square? The originals were sharper. They had, like I said, like the Concords that just released. And the patented leather thickness is the worst out of any Air Jordan 11 I've ever seen produced. Even worse than the Midnights. They might have produced a lot of these, but this is the worst shaped Air Jordan that I know of ever produced. And I don't even need to have the 2011 with me right now to know that it's not worse than this. This is the worst by far shaped Air Jordan 11 that I have ever seen. It's hands down ridiculous. I mean, just look at the wrinkles. It wrinkles here and here. Look at that. You're definitely not going to win with this shoe. It's a nice shoe. It's one of the cooler Air Jordans in my opinion. It'd be probably number 5 for me. And like I said, the 72 blew them out. This is the 2000 Air Jordan. They're both 2000s. This is the 2000 Concords. There was not a lot of padding in the inside of these 2000 Concords. Some of the differences compared to the OG were that they had a little thicker patent leather. The quality of the sides were good, but I will honestly say the shape of, you see right here, the shape right here, it's way off compared to the originals, and it's shorter up here. It's a lot shorter, which meant that like all this came up high and this got bulged up. As you can see when you wore them, they got all bulged up. There was, like I said, no padding in the back. Very difficult to clean this nylon. I remember a lot of people used to use Clorox on them and stuff, and these turn yellow. I don't know why, but the rest of the Jordans, when you clean them, they don't turn yellow as much. Bottom of the soles turn so orange, it's unbelievable, man. I mean, look how orange these shoes turn. Oxidation process on them was very bad, and as you can see, compared to the originals, which these are much older, this kind of had a gum sole bottom to them. But I think the 2000 might have been one of the worst too, but because it had thick patent leather and the quality is probably a lot better, of course, than those Space Jams. As far as you can look at the Breds from 2000, like I said, the Breds were shaped a little differences. Look a little differently. Look at the numbers. 2000 Breds. It's look at these numbers from the 2000 Breds, the 2000 Concords to the 2001 Breds. It's different, and I measured them both, and they are definitely different in measurements. It's off. I don't know why. It's a lot thinner. This mesh on here is a lot more sturdier. It's bendable, but it's stiff, which is how the original Jordans were. It's bendable, but it's stiff. But if you look at the 2000, it's really flimsy. It's definitely, they use some terrible material on these 2000 Air Jordan. They come back a little bit later, like I said, to actually you know, fix some of their problems, man. You see this right here? Hold up a second. Look at the differences between the carbon fibers. Can you see? The original Air Jordans had a huge issue with the carbon fiber texture being different. That's why when they start producing the fakes, they started having inconsistencies also to try to mimic the fact that the originals did the same thing. You see that? You see how all of the squares are connected? I don't know, it's focusing on it. And then as you see it, the patent leather, I mean the carbon fiber on these, they aren't connected at all. That is absolutely one of the craziest things I think nobody ever talks about on the original Air Jordans. And my original Concords were the same way. Inconsistencies on the carbon fiber, just on the carbon fiber. The Jumpman looked pretty good on all of them. I also think that I like the fact that Jordan did come back with the Jumpman, and he did a hell of a job with the Jumpman on the majority of the Jordans. Kind of put more detail into the Jumpman over the years, and just came back and just kind of just, you know, refreshing the logo, which is actually a great thing, because this looks terrible on the 2000. Terrible. This looks terrible on the 2000s. So the rest of them look great. In closing out, I would honestly say that if you don't have the Concords that just released, you need to get this shoe. I dogged them before, but you know, in hindsight, really looking back at the shoe, they really did an amazing job in my opinion, with the overall shape. Even though the materials don't necessarily match up, the shape of the toe is way off a little bit. Well, not even a little bit, it's way off. But the actual shape of this shoe, the way they kind of just cut and mold it down, cut the mold, it's definitely a really good molded Air Jordan in my opinion. It's not the same quality, but you can still wear these, guys. If you want to pick up a pair of original Air Jordans right now, the best places to find them is actually on eBay. You could get a really good deal on a pair right now, and I would if I were you, because this is history. This is the highest selling shoe, not this year, but 2011 I think was one of the highest selling shoes ever in the world. And I think maybe these Concords or the Space Jams came out to actually beat that number. So definitely one of the most iconic shoes Tinker Hatfield ever put together, and in my opinion, you can't go wrong with any of them. So next time you new generation cats try to come in and say us OGs kind of dog y'all, remember, in y'all era y'all had these. This shoe is really underrated, and definitely one of the original, one of the Jordans I wish was one of the original Air Jordans he wore in the game. With that said, if you guys notice any more differences between any of the shoes I showed today, let me know in the comment box, because there's always something that I could have missed. I didn't talk really a lot about the area right here, the third spacing tag that we all talk about for reference of authentic shoes, but it's not really something to talk about. I mean, a lot of times I don't think anybody ever notices. It's been a third spacing on the originals, and it's been a third spacing on every Air Jordan shoe since then has been third spacing. But besides that, guys, appreciate you watching this video, and we're gonna come out with another banger soon.
Yo, she look like Jane Kennedy, word walk to my mama, man. I can take credit from me, I was already lit when they found me. Nah.